is your main event. Mark's podcast, brought to you by the Unhinged Sports Network. I am a lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, Troy. And with me, as always, is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia. And the main event and the main event collector. He is the RoboCop to my Sting. He's Greg. What's up, Greg?
Stop, creep. You're coming with me.
Wow. Yeah, you're the only...
Look, I'm not going to lie. I was a huge RoboCop fan when I was a kid, so...
Yeah.
People might wonder why I'm saying that randomly. It's not random. It fits in. Give us a second.
Yeah. We're talking today about... I don't know, is it NWA or WCW?
What year is this, 1990?
Yeah.
I think that's the year they became WCW, but that still doesn't answer the question.
I know. It's like, it's such a murky, like, even in 91, it's still murky, because they still got NWA titles. But anyway, I'll just call it NWA, WCW.
Basically, it was like TNA's early days, but they were NWA, but TNA, just like that.
Yeah, but theirs was more prominent, though, where it's like, they let you know, boom, NWA, whereas WCW's like, yeah, I mean, we're kind of NWA, but really we're WCW. It was so weird, man. And, but we were talking about Capital Combat 1990. It's the only one of its kind, and the full name of the event is Capital...
Why.
It is called Capital Combat, the Return of Robocop. Keep that in mind, that is the title of the event. Okay?
Yeah, I never understood the return part, personally.
Well, we'll get into all that, too, because it's just... The more I listen to podcasts of people that were there and worked in the environment and stuff, the more things like start to make sense. They're not less stupid. They just make more sense. So,
oh, now I get it.
And it's like, oh, now I realize why somebody was this effing stupid. Okay, I gotcha. And there was a lot of things going on at this time. People getting fired, people getting hired, bookers just changing hands all over the damn place. My gosh, it was a tumultuous time for the NWA/WCW. And we'll get into all of that on this show. There's actually a lot of news to cover on this one, and I'm very excited to talk about it. There are a couple of moments that, we got to talk about them, and it's.
Do we really?
Well, the thing was, I don't want to scare anybody off. The show wasn't all bad either. It had some good stuff on the show. Obviously, it had some stuff that would make you laugh out loud. And
trust me, I did.
Well, and if you're looking at this through the lens of, it also depends on like your age group too, because like if you're an adult, you're like, oh my gosh. But when you saw this, were you actually watching live with this one?
I can't remember if I watched this live.
I know you were really.
But I vividly remember seeing it when I was a kid. But I don't think that necessarily means live.
Yeah. You were what, 7?
1990?
Yeah.
6.
Or 6, okay. So you were 6. I was not even born yet. We'll get into all the stuff of this show here in a bit. But first we got to cover the news and notes. But I want to let you all know real quick that the Main Event Marks is sponsored by Fubo TV and Fanatics. If you want to cut the cord, Fubo TV is the way to do it. And Fanatics is where you can get officially licensed sports swag from the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, NCAA, PGA, and NASCAR. Click on the links down in the show description and let them know that the Main Event Marks and the Unhinged Sports Network sent you. But anyway, if you were listening on the podcast feed, subscribe and please leave a 5-star review. And on the other end of this break, we're going to dive into the news and notes. We'll be right back. Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. It's the very best of professional wrestling's past every Monday on
Retro Wrestling Review.
I'm your host, Troy, and together we'll hop on my time-traveling wrestling ring and watch along to the greatest matches from yesteryear in the Sport of Kings.
As complex, as controversial, and as brilliant, really, as he is.
On Triple R, we'll cover matches from across the world, including American territories, Canada, Mexico, and Japan.
Fast action, lots more than that.
You'll learn some things, find out about wrestlers and matches you never even knew about, and we'll have some laughs. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Retro Wrestling Pod. Retro Wrestling Review is available wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube, served up fresh every Monday morning.
Unbelievable! The crowd absolutely stunned!
The main event marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. All right, we are back, and we're about to dive into the news and notes here from mid-May of 1990.
Was it May 19th, Cane Day?
It was May 19th, yeah. So
Let's say that day.
we covered the show that was the very next May in 91. A couple of weeks ago, back in the archives, Super Brawl 1. That was...
And yes, that was in May.
Something. Yeah, that was something, man. I know a lot of people might have looked at that and was like, whatever, and they might have slept on that episode. I had a lot of fun recording that one.
I have more fun recording the bad shows than I do the fun ones, if I'm being really honest with you.
Oh, yeah, and the good shows are always cool to talk about, but yeah, like, that show, there was a lot of meat on the bone, is like good and bad, mostly bad, with that show. A lot of memorable stuff. But anyway.
Crap. Oh.
Diving right into the big story here from the WWF. The World Wrestling Federation did a big angle of the summer, or the big angle of the summer, with Hulk Hogan doing a stretcher job on the Brother Love show to Earthquake.
Oh, man. Dude, yeah. I remember being in tears when that happened, dude. Oh.
He crushed the Hulkster. Why? Hogan will be announcing his retirement from wrestling in a few weeks to set up his comeback at SummerSlam.
That just sounds so stupid.
I know. Well, we all know that retirements in wrestling mean absolutely nothing. They're like points on whose line is it anyway.
Wow.
They mean nothing. What? Come on.
It's a really obscure reference, but okay, we'll go with it.
Well, what was the SummerSlam 1990 main event here? I forget.
It was Hogan and Earthquake, and I believe Warrior and Rick Rude were the actual main events.
Oh, was it just Hogan and Earthquake 101?
Mm-hmm. I think it ended in a count out too.
Oh yeah, that's how you want to end your second biggest show of the year.
No, it ended with a cage match. I'm just saying that match ended with the count out.
Oh, the Rude and Warrior.
Yeah, the cage match did. I think, and this is just me guessing, but I think because back then they did not want to set up the cage mid-show and take it down.
Yeah, they always had intermission beforehand.
Yeah, because if you go back and watch, there's a long break when they're putting up the cage, so yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, hell, AEW, when they did Blood and Guts, I mean, they pre-recorded the first hour of the show just so they didn't have to set everything up.
Yeah.
That was something. But the WWF ran one last show in Madison Square Garden for the time being, as the building is closed for renovations all summer. This must have been early renovations.
1990, so
yeah.
They would I don't know if this is exactly the return, but I know SummerSlam 91 was there, so.
Okay. Yeah, they've done so many big time renovations to MSG in the last 20 years. Because didn't they not too long ago just do a big ass renovation of it?
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, whatever. Keeping it modern.
Rent's so high. I guess we got to cover that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, they only drew 9,500 fans for a really bad show with Hulk Hogan and Earthquake on top. I can't believe that didn't draw on MSG in 1990.
It was a house show, though, yeah?
Yeah. But back then, I mean, you put Hulk Hogan on top, even if it was a house show, especially in MSG, they usually did pretty well. Here's one. We talked about this guy last week, a couple of weeks ago on Super Brawl. Terry Taylor was actually blocked from going anywhere, and the WWF will be holding him to his contract until August and using him on a regular basis again.
Don't let him get away. He might put the asses in the seats for the other guys.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why is that the one where you're like, we can't let him escape and go down south. God dang it, pal. We got to put more.
1990, so he's still the Red Rooster, I believe.
Yeah. We got to put the Red Rooster on the marquee. That'll really draw him in. Did you see the MSG number? like he freaked out after the MSG show. God dang it, we can't let him go now.
Oh, man.
Well, I don't remember. Apparently, because I was too young. I wasn't watching. But I don't remember. Apparently, he did wrestle as Terry Taylor for a bit in the WWF.
Not in this run, I don't believe. I know he'd be terrific.
He came back?
Terry Taylor in 1993.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he came back. Wow. Well,
yeah, for all the crap we give, this guy keeps getting employed. Okay, let's not forget that. We can laugh all day, but man, him and Jim Neidhart were like in a competition as you can get employed the most.
Right, and who could screw it up the most? Well, and the thing is, I remembered that he was around post Red Rooster only because Bruce Pritchard tells a story of like he came out as himself and he like grabs a mic and he's like, "I'm back, baby," or something like that. And somebody in the crowd just goes, "Arr, arr, arr."
Oh my God.
And he said killed him dead on the spot right there.
That's a hell of a stigma.
Yeah, right.
Because I remember, I want to say it's Royal 1993, he's terrific Terry Taylor.
Terrific. God dang it.
He's got 3 T's on his crotch or his ass or something like that.
Good Lord. Why? Like, I know you and I
like that you're legit stuck for words.
Well, it's like I know you and I talked about this guy like buried himself backstage a lot, and he was kind of an a-hole. But like, man, you want to talk about falling into the box of gimmicks and pulling out all the worst ones?
He fell off the top of the damn tree and hit every branch on the way down. Is what he did.
Yeah, the Red Rooster, terrific Terry Taylor, the computerized man.
Oh my God, forgot about that crap.
We just talked about it 2 weeks ago.
I know.
Oh, man. And it was all in a span of like 3 years, maybe 3-4 years.
Look, can we acknowledge he wasn't a bad wrestler, by the way? I feel like it needs to be said.
No, he was great. Yeah, I think
that needs to be said. But like, it's just a lot of crap.
No, I feel like if he was like, if he had somebody that had confidence in him and actually pushed him and he could keep his damn mouth shut.
I was going to say, you just said it yourself right there. He was kind of a dick and like.
Yeah.
Did you do anything with him? I mean.
I know. Yeah.
He was the first. He's the first nephew, if you will.
The Ultimate Warrior's reception as champion has been getting more and more lukewarm in every city. I've heard that. Like, I heard the ratings started tanking, and like everything kind of stagnated with him on top. So
I will never look back with nothing but fondness on his run. So
yeah, I mean, you and I were both fans. Then again, Then again, when you and I discovered the Warrior and watched the Warrior, we were children, and I mean, he had some magnetism to him. I'll say that. He had the it factor, but I mean, yeah, when you're going from Hulk Hogan, who was, the hottest star business had ever seen, to the Ultimate Warrior having less than, like, Hulk Hogan never had a 5-star match. You and I talked about that. But the Warrior made Hulk Hogan look like Ric Flair in Japan.
All right.
So, I don't know. They had to put him in the ring with people like Rick Rude and Randy Savage and people like that. And if he wasn't in the ring with people like that,
God help us.
Yeah, it wasn't going to go anywhere. And a lot of people didn't like working with him because he was stiff and a little dangerous. And yeah, I don't know.
I'll give him the danger part, but the stiff part makes me laugh. Like, man, come on.
Yeah, well, they talked about, they're like, Rick Rude looks rough and tough, but his crap couldn't break an egg, because he was, he knew how to work. Whereas Ultimate Warrior, they said his stuff looked terrible and it felt like crap because he was really hitting you. But then again, then there was, Stan Hansen, who was the blind potato master.
The expert.
Yeah, I know. Here's one, man. Tugboat has been missing a lot of dates, and the company has given up on the tugboat gimmick. Well, they hadn't.
Hold the phone. They had a thing with the tugboat gimmick?
Well,
I liked him when I was a kid, honestly. Looking back, it was stupid, but like, At what point did they have like something for it? When was it ever hot to like? I'm stuck on the word give up on it. Like I'm stuck on that.
Well,
what the hell did they give up on? They weren't doing anything with him.
Well, around this time, he was Hulk's best friend, and he was the one encouraging all the little Hulksters to write in and wish him well.
He was the other guy still.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
I'm lost on him. Like, what the hell were they doing with him? Were they giving up?
He was 1A, or no, he was like 1B behind Hogan, I guess. Well, I don't know. They were
maybe being generous with that.
Yeah, but I mean, Bruce Pritchard himself talked about, they were going to build him up for that WrestleMania 7 match, and they decided not to. So, I mean, they were
the general
trying.
Consensus on him, he's like the nicest dude on the planet, which I can tell you, when I met him at WrestleCon, he was like just the coolest dude. So.
Yeah.
I met him at a tugboat, by the way.
Did he trip over his table when he was going? No.
This is another one of those instances, by the way, where I'm going to tell you this. I went and met him or went past by him and shook his hand while you were waiting in line to meet Christian. I feel like I've used that story like 12 times in the history of podcast, and there's probably even more to go.
You met like half the WWE Hall of Famers while I was standing in line for Christian Cage. Whatever. Uncle Dave Meltzer claims that the WWF will be rebranding Tugboat as Bronto the Caveman for a feud with Dino Bravo.
Holy hell.
Well.
Thank you, wrestling gods, for not letting that go through.
Yeah. So he goes from a tugboat captain to a caveman? Like, that's what they were going to... Like, what the frick, dude? Oh, my gosh.
I challenge all the WWE haters nowadays to tell me that nowadays is worse than back then.
Yeah. Thank God they made him into Typhoon. And I'm not saying that, like, sarcastically. Like, I like the natural disasters.
Well, I hated them, but,
Well, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I was always a big fan of theirs. I mean, yeah, you looking back now, their matches sucked, but I thought they were a cool team. Here's one, man. We're always talking about the Road Warriors and contract disputes and whatever every week. During this time, anyway. The Road
Warriors... just preface this by saying I've always been a huge fan, always will be.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know people think I'm crapping on them, but, yeah.
The Road Warriors are coming back to the WWF. They were tired of all the crap in the NWA and will be let out of their contract shortly. Also, the NWA was equally sick of their crap. Plus, the trio of Hawk, Animal, and Ellering cost them $5,100 each show, which is kind of ridiculous based on the paltry house show crowds. Jim Herd actually pitched an idea of salvaging the relationship where the team would split up, feud with each other, and then get back together again. Due to the Ultimate Warrior being on top in the WWF, they'll have to change their name to the Legion of Doom. And yes, that did happen. So,
two things. Number one, he never had the epic feud with them and the Ding Dongs. That pisses me off.
Oh, yeah.
And two, did that story say they were coming back to the WWE? I don't think they were ever there.
No, it said they were going to the WWE.
Oh.
Yeah, this was run number 1. And I knew they were in the WWF around this time. I didn't know it was 90 when they went. But I remember they were
before SummerSlam because they come out at SummerSlam.
Oh, okay.
And then they would have the big match at the next SummerSlam for the tag titles.
Right. I was going to say, I remember them. They rolled the motorcycles out at Wembley, didn't they?
That was 92. Yeah.
Yeah. With Rocco.
Who I have a Mattel figure of.
Yeah. Isn't that was that the time they said Rocco, quote unquote, got misplaced, or they left him at the airport or something?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, man.
That
yeah.
sucks, man. He was the only surviving thing of that fire in their old neighborhood.
What was that the storyline?
Yeah, they went to the old neighborhood. It was either burned down or torched or someone destroyed or something like that. And the only thing that was left was Rocco. There's a video on YouTube about it. Yeah.
If of all the merchandising opportunities you have with the LOD, and you pick a goddamn puppet.
It's no Hulk's fist on a helmet, but yeah.
Oh, the fist ever? That's not what it was called in reality, but
yes, it was.
Nicknamed it that. Yeah, Bruce Pritchard nicknamed it that. Well, Greg, that was the inspiration for the SmackDown set years ago.
Oh, well.
There you go. Anyway, the Road Warriors actually offered themselves to both New Japan and All Japan for 16 weeks a year at $20,000 a week, but neither promotion wanted them at that price, so they took the WWF offer. Look, I know the LOD's hot in 1990 still, but hot damn, dude, how much do you think you're drawing?
You should go watch the Road Warriors. Oh, you've probably seen it. The Road Warriors DVD or the documentary.
I have not.
There's a part on there where they talk about contract disputes, and Bischoff said that Animal kind of had a big head and what he thought they were worth. Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, he still has a big head on him. Like, if anybody goes back and watches their episode of Dark Side of the Ring from season 2, Animal still talks about him like, they were the best things since sliced bread. I mean, whatever, man. Great, have confidence in yourself. And they were over. But, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I will say it's like listening to the Kurt Angle podcast. Kurt is like, if he's in my top 3, maybe top 2 of greatest wrestlers of all time. But, man, Kurt Angle loves him some Kurt Angle, man.
I say it's like LeBron James. Like, they're great, but the problem is they know they're great. That becomes a problem.
Yeah, after a while, it's like, dude, you're great, but you're making me bring you down a peg in my mind, because it's like, well, you're not that great. Here's one for you. Terry Funk is doing boxing choreography for the new Rocky movie, which is Rocky 5.
Wow, he's been I didn't know that, because I know he was in Over the Top with Stallone. He must have been a friend of his.
Yeah, but of all the people you could hire to do boxing choreography, why would you hire Terry Funk? Like, wrestling, sure, but what? But
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, that came out of left field. But that's in addition to Dick Slater working as the stunt double for the guy in that Rocky fights. I'm assuming he was doubling as Tommy Gunn.
Why would they need a stunt double? Because that was a real fighter.
I know. I'm assuming there was some. I mean,
because I know that I forget his actual name, but in Rocky Balboa, he did the fight himself.
Yeah.
Antonio Tarver. He did the fight himself.
Well, this was. I'm assuming he doubled as him for the street fight at the end. And I'd have to go back and watch. I can't remember if he took any ridiculous bumps or anything, but he probably didn't want to, go around bumping into concrete and stuff like that without knowing how. But I don't know. This story kind of came at me out of left field. I mean, that last one was a little like, okay. But this one, Blackjack Mulligan and Kendall Windham got their sentences for counterfeiting, and Kendall got 27 months in prison and 2 years probation, while Blackjack got 24 months and 2 years probation.
That was another today's years old story.
Yeah, I had no idea. Blackjack Mulligan, by the way, would get out of prison and then go work for Herb Abrams for a little while.
Oh, man. There's a lot of jokes there.
Yeah.
Let's just say it fits. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of drugs in prison, but anyway. What? He got arrested for counterfeiting. What? He couldn't help Herb come up with more money?
Counterfeit syrups or chaps or something? What was the counterfeiting? Money?
Yes. And Kendall Windham. I had no idea Kendall Windham went to jail. So this was. Wait, I'm thinking about it.
Don't worry, he'll get another shot as the West Texas Rednecks. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was worried, Greg, about Kendall Windham. So this was Bray Wyatt's grandfather and uncle who went to prison for counterfeiting. Good Lord.
Suddenly the Pino looks up bad, huh?
Right. Going to Japan now. Tiger Mask unmasked during a tag team match and declared, quote, he declared, quote, I am Misawa. He will now be wrestling as Mitsuharu Misawa from now on. So there you go. The start of Mitsuharu Misawa was in 1990 when he took his tiger mask off.
They're like 47 Tiger Masks.
I think in total, like if you count all the variations of Tiger Mask this and that, whatever, I think there's like 6.
What's the one, Eddie Guerrero?
He was Black Tiger. Close enough. And then,
well, they just say Jaguar.
God dang it, Greg, because Jaguars don't have stripes. Damn it, Greg.
My mistake.
Well, you know who played Black Tiger in TNA was Rocky Romero.
I feel like I knew that, but I couldn't remember his name. But I can picture his face.
Yeah, he was in the World X Cup in like 2006. In women's wrestling in Japan, former prelim wrestler Erika Shiseido won the All-Pacific title and rebranded herself as Aja Kong.
Doesn't she still wrestle?
She does, yeah.
Good Lord.
I know, she's been around forever and a day.
So I believe her and Dustin Rhodes are the only people who can meet today that were in this era.
Yeah.
Maybe Yuji Nagata after watching him or Dynamite. I don't know when he started, but
yeah, I don't either. I don't know when he debuted. He's up there in age. 1990. Like, that's weird, man. I didn't know that it was the birth of Mitsuharu Misawa and Aja Kong, both in the same month. So, cool. Now getting into the NWA, WCW stuff here. WCW/NWA is finally abandoning the stupid booking committee and will be naming a single booker after Capital Combat. Skipping ahead, Ole Anderson will be announced as the new booker, and he immediately brought in Stan Hansen for a feud with Lex Luger down the road. I forgot they feuded. That was hella awkward. I feel like you and I
listen here, Ohio, you don't get to say hella.
I've been talking to you long enough.
Didn't we review one of their matches?
Yeah, so Luger faced off with Hansen. Like, now in the archives, go back and listen to our Starrcade 1990 episode. It was a Texas lariat.
What a barn burner it was, man.
Yeah. Texas freaking lariat match for the U.S. title. Hooey. But getting back to this story, it's kind of a coup since Hansen
leading a lamb to slaughter. Here, go listen to this crap.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we had fun making it, don't get me wrong, but the show was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, I say listen to us, don't watch the show. How about that?
Yeah, our podcast was much more entertaining than that garbage. I mean, the main event, how do you build up Sting as your big world champion, then you get to your biggest show of the year, and you're like, wow, we don't have an opponent for him. Who the hell are we throwing in there? But anyway, it's kind of a coup since Hansen was heavily rumored to be headed to the WWF. Bill Watts had been considered for the front runner for the job, but he was insistent that he not be accountable to Jim Herd, and the deal fell through.
Don't worry, it's coming.
Yeah, we lose Herd, Kit Watts, and things don't really get better. However, management insisted at the meeting where Ole was introduced that they would not interfere in any of his decisions. Yeah, and that worked out splendidly. This was the booking administration that had the Harlem Heat being led out to the ring by a Southern guy holding chains around their necks. We had the Black Scorpion, now in the archives at Starrcade 90. And yeah, just, I don't know, you and I talked about the Black Scorpion. I didn't hate it until the payoff. I thought the payoff sucked. I feel like it could have been something. Yeah, I feel like it could have been something. I always liked, because I listened back, they covered that show on Tony Schiavone's podcast, What Happened When, and they always do funny commentary and stuff, and Tony was like, Sting, it's me, Ole. like, yeah, Ole always did those weird voices that they needed. I feel like wasn't there somebody else that he did like the voiceover for?
I think he did it for Shockmaster.
Oh yeah, that was it. And his one voice that he did always for all of those characters just sounded like Claw from Inspector Gadget.
All right. See him pounding on the table with the cat jumping. You can see it already.
Damn you, Inspector Gadget. Anyway, Comsat, a huge cable conglomerate, is interested in purchasing the company from Ted Turner, although everyone involved denies it. I don't know who the hell Comsat is.
Comcast's little brother? I don't know.
Yeah, this was early cable guys, I guess. But the story was leaked by Joe Pedicino. Also bidding is Vince McMahon, which would be the final step in the total control of the wrestling scene in North America. Vince actually made offers a few months back, but the company was in bad financial shape, or when the company was in bad financial shape. But Turner turned him down. The NWA is in rough shape, with losses reportedly as high as $1 million per month. Although there's a lot of creative math involved in figuring out the exact number, because of the vague quote, this money goes to the TV side and this money goes to the wrestling side, contract wackiness. The pay-per-view business is profitable, and the 900 line business is insanely profitable, but the house shows are a giant money losing drain of the company overall and make up almost all of the deficit.
Oh,
yeah.
well.
This would continue until Eric Bischoff got the reins.
Yeah, but he didn't drop house shows. You know who did?
Was it Kip Fry? Was it him?
No, I mean, it was Eric Bischoff, but what's his name says it was all his idea. What's that guy who didn't draw a dime?
Oh, Mike Graham.
Yeah, Mike Graham. He insisted that was his idea.
Yeah, he insisted every good idea was his idea and every bad idea, well, I warned him.
No.
Dude, nobody was ever listening to you, Mike. Look, I'm not going to try to crap on the dead here, but seriously, it's like you just alluded to. The thing he says about everybody, never drew a dime. How many dimes did Mike Graham draw?
3 or 4.
Yeah, it's like, as much as, and I'm not a huge Jeff Jarrett fan, but he was going, broke 1,000 guitars, never drew a dime. It's like, he drew more dimes than you, Mike. So, those who live in a glass house. And again, he's a tragic case and a tragic story, whatever, but I don't know.
I just find it crazy they operated this long on losing money until Bischoff came along.
I know. And the purchasing of the company thing was kind of funny. I'd heard this before, but I'd forgot about it. Around the time that, right before Bischoff came in and made the offer with Fusion Media in 2001, I guess Jerry Jarrett was looking at buying it. And he, chicken salad. Well, because he made, I guess he, when you're looking at buying a company, you get to look at their books and everything beforehand to see, all their finances and all that good stuff before you buy into it. And he was looking it over and talking it over with Jeff, and he was like, son, this sucks. It's like, you think?
I can't even make you world champion of this, son,
Well, they always say, make chicken salad out of chicken. Well, but, not even I can do that. I'm still waiting. Jeff Jarrett on his My World podcast, he says one of these days he's going to reveal his grandmother's famous chicken salad recipe. I'm looking forward to it. At least he's in on the joke and he gets it. Wahoo Mcdaniel.
He's doing pretty fine for himself, so I don't think he cares.
Yeah, especially at home, man.
Right.
Whew. Anyway, Wahoo Mcdaniel was the first victim of the new Ole regime, as he was fired from his agent position. Not a guy I would have thought Ole would have put on the chopping block, but whatever.
I thought the old school guys stuck together.
Yeah. I mean, this is the same guy, though, that asked Ric Flair what good are you to me now after he lost to Kurt Hennig on TV. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that one.
And I don't get that. I figured Ole would be a fan of Kurt's because they're old Minnesota boys. The NWA name is becoming a bit of an issue to continue using. The name is owned by the NWA organization, which is separate from Turner's wrestling company, and in fact, no one on the NWA board is even involved in World Championship Wrestling, so they're essentially paying out rights fees for absolutely nothing. And then it turns out that no one from the NWA ever totally agreed to let them use the name once Turner bought the promotion. So what seems inevitable is World Championship Wrestling becoming the permanent name of that promotion to avoid the NWA seeking legal action against them.
I think it worked out.
Yeah. Like, what good was the NWA name to them especially at this time? Like, maybe in the early days, okay, whatever.
For another reason than name value for old school fans, I don't know.
Yeah, at this time, like, and it was so confusing. Like, you and I can't even keep it straight. And this is like 30 years later. I don't know. Here's one I had no idea about. Tommy Young was told by doctors not to return to wrestling because any serious bump could cripple him for life.
He would. He'd be on Raw in like a couple years for one match.
Tommy Young refereed a match on Raw?
Yeah, the NWA matches, the Jim Cornette's NWA matches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh. I had no idea he retired way back in 1990. Wow. Because a lot of people talk about him. I just figured he kept on in the 90s. But I wonder what happened to him. Do you know?
I don't. I'm like, why couldn't he just not get hit? Still be a referee. I don't get it.
I thought the same thing about Tim White. Because, you know, he had to retire after that shoulder injury. I guess he came back for like one match and he re-injured his shoulder and just he had to retire. He suffered a career-ending injury in a match between Mike Rotunda and Tommy Rich on WCW TV. I don't know what the injury. His head bounced off the rope and he was left legitimately incapacitated for the remainder of the match. Wow.
A stupid wildfire.
So he was officiating a match between Mike Rotunda and Tommy Rich, and so did he fall asleep mid-match and bounce off the ropes? Because I would have. Speaking of injuries, Sting is tentatively scheduled to start wrestling again on June 30th. Sid Vicious should be back at the same time. I didn't even know Sid Vicious was injured during this time, but that would explain why he didn't really...
headline Halloween Havoc, right?
Sid?
Was that this one?
I don't know. I can't keep the Halloween Havocs straight. Yeah. Sting, I think, what was he back on June 30th, or was it I know he was back for the Great American Bash, obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah, he builds up to it, so.
Okay. Lex Luger apparently got a staph infection from Scott Steiner, who had been working with an eye infection and managed to transmit it to Luger's knee. Ew.
What?
Yeah. Like, what? How does that even happen? Ugh.
Wow, that sounds weird.
I know.
That was made up.
We'll talk about it on the show, but yeah, he was Luger was in the hospital for like 2 weeks fighting for his life with a staph infection. So, which makes this main event even more impressive in my eyes, but we'll get to that. Speaking of Luger, WCW ran a show in Boston on May 4th with Ric Flair versus Lex Luger on top, but Luger got lost on his way to the building, and they changed the main event to Flair versus Rick Steiner instead. Then, at 10 p.m., Luger finally found the place and showed up just as they were making the ring announcements for the main event. So they canceled the match and did a second intermission so that Luger could get ready, and then they had the advertised main event after all.
Oh, my God. This sounds so stupid.
This is
like
one
the
of
worst. That's like the worst tardy excuse for school ever.
Oh, I know. I couldn't find the giant-ass arena in the middle of Boston. Like, what? Had you never been here before? I realize this was before GPS and whatever, but, like, did he ride alone? Man. Just, wow. This was one of the most WCW stories I've ever heard. And here's one. Speaking of issues with live shows, they were supposed to be touring Canada, but the card at the Lord Beaverbrook Ice Arena in New Brunswick had to be canceled because the ammonia that's used to make the ice was leaking. Damn. I don't know if it was during this time. I can't remember for sure, but it was within like a few year span. There was a show that the guy who was supposed to transport the ring forgot to show up. They had fans. No. But they had fans in the arena. Everybody was there, like, getting ready. The guy never showed up with the ring, so they had to cancel the show and send everybody home.
Sounds so stupid. Like I've already used that a couple times.
Yeah, it's just like, you want to talk about the most WCW stories ever. Just like, man, the mismanagement just ran deep.
The ring's lost.
Yeah, they had to cancel the show because they literally didn't have a ring. Like, what?
That's the equivalent of losing your contact lens, though, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, my gosh. Ted Turner is set to personally do a press conference to announce the signing of El Gigante, and Gigante will likely debut at the pay-per-view.
I wonder if he does.
Yeah, I wonder. Final story here. Abdullah the Butcher quit WCW already because he has a Japan tour in June. He actually told them before he even signed that he had a Japan tour, and he couldn't be there long term, so they still signed him anyway and pushed him like crazy on TV. You know, because WCW.
Because reasons.
Before there was LOL TNA, there was LOL WCW. This hot damn, dude. Most mismanaged crap of all time. And we can talk about all the crap in the late 1990s, early 2000s, all we want. But this, man.
Yeah. They lost the ring.
They lost the ring.
I can't get over that.
They had to cancel a show because ammonia was leaking at an ice rink. Their main event guy lost the way to the arena, and they had to cancel the match. And then they were like, never mind, just kidding, he just showed up. Holy crap.
Just playing with you guys.
And then they went through Jim Herd and Kip Fry and Ole Anderson and Bill Watts, and just Dusty Rhodes. You ready to dive into the event?
Feels like a rogues gallery of crap.
I know, right? Well, real quick, before we take our next break, if you are not listening on the Unhinged Sports Network, we are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on unhingedsn.airtime.pro. The immediate replay is at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Also, we have replays on Thursday and Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Again, that is on unhingedsn.airtime.pro or unhingedsn.com. And for all of you out there, it is a free internet radio station. I appreciate I appreciate you think that we can all charge for the service, but we do not. So go check it out. It's free. If you were listening on the podcast feed, thank you. We're available anywhere you get podcasts, including YouTube that has all the archived shows. And subscribe and leave a review, please. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe and tick the little bell for the notifications. Let you know whenever we post a new video. But we will take our next break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the show at hand. Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Same mother and father.
Your room was...
We shared the room.
Shared a room.
We shared the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Broadcast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah. Well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAS. Nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
It's showtime. We are getting into WCW/NWA Capital Combat 1990. The return. It took place May 19th, 1990. The tagline: The Return of Robocop. It took place at the D.C. Armory in Washington, D.C. They were hanging from the rafters. It was a sold-out 7,500 fans in attendance, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was an armory. So the pay-per-view buy rate was 1.40, which amounted to 160,000 buys, which was lower than the two pay-per-views on either side of it. So what was the one before this? Wrestle War, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Wrestle War did better. The Great American Bash would do better. This, not so much. But then again, when you see that the tagline is the return of effing RoboCop, I'd save my money for the Bash.
I'm of the different opinion, dude. If I see RoboCop, man, they got my money.
Yeah, shut up and take my money. The show did draw a sellout, but the DC Armory was brutally hot, and it wasn't air-conditioned, which is kind of funny considering that they should have learned that lesson at the Fort Bragg Clash of the Champions show last year, but apparently they did not. For this show, WCW agreed to do some promotion for the upcoming movie RoboCop 2. Time Warner was distributing it, and since WCW was part of that umbrella, they were chosen to promote the film. In true WCW fashion, they chose possibly the silliest method of doing that.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. And before they built this whole promotion around it. It wasn't just like a little side thing like, hey, RoboCop's going to be here. No, this was the whole effing show. Not Rob Van Dam, but, this whole show. They were told before the show, hey, it's a dude in basically a plastic suit. He can't go upstairs. He can't take a bump. He can't hit the ropes. He can't really do anything. Give him top billing.
He can walk like a robot.
Yeah, he has to move really slowly or the costume will come apart. Hot damn.
Hot garbage.
The show, let's see, the open of the show shows a top secret file being opened to show pictures of Sting and other NWA wrestlers. We then go to Tony Schiavone, fresh off of his WWF stint, who sends it to a military band dressed like Revolutionary War soldiers, playing the Star-Spangled Banner for Armed Forces Day. It's
a real sentence, by the way.
Yeah. All of this is real. It's real. We now get sent to our commentary team for the event, Jim Ross and Bob Caudle. Look, I think Bob Caudle had a great voice, and I have nothing bad to say about the guy. His commentary for this show was goofy at best.
I never liked him, if I'm being real with you.
I liked his voice. I didn't think he was a good commentator. I'll say that. He didn't really add anything. He just kept... He commentated like he was a kid in a candy store, or and Jim Ross was just sitting there, haha, you're right, Bob. I'm like, okay. This first match is a 6-man tag match. It is the team of Bam Bam Bigelow, Cactus Jack, and Kevin Sullivan with the Big Kahuna, which is Sir Oliver Humperdinck.
That's like a couple times in the past couple weeks you mentioned him now.
And he had 2 different names. Gosh. He is in their corner. They're taking on the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, and I guess his name, I put Norman the Lunatic, but I guess he's just Norman now. And I guess Paul Ellering was there. They didn't really make a big show of him being there. I don't know. The match went just over 9 minutes. Hawk and Animal ride to the ring on the backs of motorcycles with other guys driving them, which I thought was a tad emasculating. 2 years after this, they would ride motorcycles to the ring in Wembley Stadium, actually riding them themselves. And even with a puppet on the handlebars, still more manly than this.
The dummy's driving the bike.
Why would they... like, I know who we have in charge here, but who was the guy with the bright idea? Yeah, let the LOD ride, bitch.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but okay.
I mean, come on, man. Anyway, and oddly enough, this was not.
I
the
guess
worst
I must
thing
have just been tuning out.
That was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, why are they on the back of the bike? I don't know. It was a sticking point for me. But to make it worse, Norman rides to the ring on a scooter. For people that don't know, Norman the Lunatic, whatever the hell you want to call him, he would go on to be Bastion Booger. Yeah. But he had hair here.
Norman like a little slow? Can I say that?
He was a lunatic. Yeah. Well, okay. He goes from being a psychopath that they would wheel to the ring on a gurney and whatever and strap him in and all that. He goes from being a mental patient to, just being on the spectrum. He has special needs. He's okay now. He was Eugene, basically. But his partners rip off his Norman's shirt. It was for a radio station to reveal another T-shirt that was his own Norman shirt. He's got a plastic bag. He starts pulling T-shirts out of it, chucking them into the crowd.
I bet those sold like hotcakes.
Oh man, yeah. Can you imagine being the guy? You're like, I caught the shirt from Norman. Cool.
Can you imagine being that sad sack that doesn't have one? You're like, man, I never got my Norman shirt.
It made kids cry. It's like, I didn't get my Norman shirt. Like,
good
it's okay.
God.
It's okay, little Johnny. Maybe you'll get to see El Gigante.
Little Johnny.
I'm sorry. By the way, I wasn't aware. I was today years old when I found out that Bam Bam Bigelow was in the WCW in 1990.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Comes back to WB in late 92, I think.
And I don't remember him wearing the singlet either. It was like a sleeveless singlet. Like, people would have to see it. But Norman took most of this match getting beat up on because reasons. No one took a trip to the Batcave, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it sucked.
Crap eventually breaks down. Hawk pins Sullivan with a flying lariat off the top. Uncle Dave said this match was fine, but nothing special, with the exception of Cactus Jack. So he had a hard-on for Cactus Jack back in 1990. He gave it 2.5 stars. I gave it 1.5. I thought it sucked. What say you?
I thought it was terrible. I gave it 1.
This match blew ass. They beat
I would
up on
have
the
loved it too
special
if we
needs
had saw
guy.
a trip to the Batcave.
Oh my gosh. They beat up on the special needs guy, and then Hawk got the pin on Kevin effing Sullivan. Cool. Moving on here.
I dare them to do a gimmick like that in today's world.
I know, right? You pair up the special needs guy with the two big bikers against the most ragtag trio that I've ever seen. But up next, we get Johnny Ace taking on Mean Mark Callis with Theodore R. Long in his corner. This one went about 10.5 minutes. I didn't even think of this until post-show.
How you doing there? Tigger, oil up your pecs for you.
What the hell? Some awfully nice red hair you got there. I can help you dye it black. Help you get over, pal.
As long as you let me hit the Ace Crusher.
Yeah, let me hit the Ace Crusher on you. It's over in Japan. I'm sorry. I didn't think about this until later on. There was a Laurinaitis in the first 2 matches of this show.
That's true. Yeah.
We go from Joe to John. But
at least we only got progressively better.
Oh, yeah. We stepped up a little bit. I don't care about the match quality here, but Johnny's mullet is a 7 stars in the Tokyo Dome.
High and tight.
And bleach blonde to perfection. I mean, like, you couldn't even see the roots, brother. That was some good stuff. Teddy Long gets involved a few times outside the ring. In the end, Mean Mark hits a heart punch into a walk-the-ropes flying elbow drop for the win. He said he stopped doing that move because it effed up his hip. Uncle Dave said both looked green because there was no transitions between moves, and the audience lost patience. He gave it a 1 3/4. I gave it an even 2. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. What say you?
I didn't hate it, but yeah, I'll give it 2.
I never thought Johnny Ace sucked. I didn't think he was good. He didn't suck, in my opinion.
There was someone I compared him to. It was like, a guy like Virgil. We give him crap and laugh at all this stupid stuff, but like, in no world was he bad.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I still think about it because I follow him on Instagram. He posts funny stuff. I'm like, it's a running joke. Virgil, $20 to get his autograph. Like he was never bad.
No, he was the black manservant of the rich white guy.
I didn't go there, but whatever.
It's true. I didn't
say you were wrong. I'm just saying I'm not touching that.
Well, anyway, after that match, we get it's better now because WCW has a stupid thing called the Slam-O-meter, where they show a replay of a move and rate the slam on the meter. Pretty effing lame. And why did they break it out for this match and this match alone?
Oh, man.
For God's sake.
I'm just thinking about Alexandra York. I'm like, I bet you she remember that.
The hell? That
fits in with the computer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. We then cut to Gordon Sully backstage.
Continuity, dude. See, man, you gotta remember stuff.
Yeah. We cut to Gordon Sully backstage, approaching Sting and RoboCop's locker room for an interview. I'm sure this was the highlight of his illustrious career. Security is guarding RoboCop's door. While Sully is speaking, some moron in the crowd is blowing an air horn.
I was wondering how the hell they got that in there.
Me too, because he's going on and he's we're approaching the locker room of RoboCop and Sting here. I'm like, holy crap.
RoboCop.
Yeah, I was like, that was fantastic. Like, if you couldn't make the segment any dumber. Oh, man. And frickin' Sully, man, is just, God bless him. He's trying to sell this stupid crap. And he explains to us that Sting's recovery from his knee, or he talks to us about Sting's recovery from his knee injury and about how much he cares about the little stingers. It's such a cartoonish-ass segment. My favorite part is when he says... That
not a rip-off of Hulkamania at all, by the way.
No, I know. My favorite part of this whole thing is he says that Sting and RoboCop are there to protect the little stingers from the Four Horsemen. Yeah, like, Flair's going to hop the crowd and start chopping kids.
Old drunk Flair, Mike.
Line them up, I'll knock them down.
Oh, man.
What do you know about that? Woo! Chop.
Holy crap.
I would pay money for that, man. I'm not even joking. I'm sorry, I got to collect myself after that.
Oh, man.
We now go to Tony Schiavone on a platform in the crowd for the Rock and Roll Express. They're putting over how they're going to whip the Freebirds tonight in their corporal punishment match. Robert Gibson then does sign language while Ricky Morton talks. What I was wondering during this entire promo was whether or not Ricky Morton ever won an award for that epic effing mullet.
He had to have, dude.
Yeah, that's
he still has it.
That's like a blue ribbon first place at the county fair having mullet right there. Like, hot damn. Like, if I saw that mullet just walking around the county fair, I would walk up and just at least give him a hot dog.
I would, risk my life to just touch it.
Right? Speaking of Ricky Morton, by the way, did you see that him and his son won some tag titles recently?
No, but...
Yeah, his son has become a wrestler. I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head, but... What?
Nothing.
What the hell? Robert Gibson, by the way, legit knew sign language. I think his sister was deaf. So that's how they would communicate with each other, like in the ring, was they would do sign language back and forth.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Weird factoid from, I want to say that was from Jim Cornette. So anyway.
How'd he know?
Yeah, right. This next match
Ricky
was...
Robert, mother effer.
Rock and Roll Express, most over team of all time, more over than Jesus. Mother effer. Anyway. He always said in the South, and like people actually admitted to this. They're like, well, on my mantle, I got a picture of Jesus, and right next to it, I got a picture of the Rock and Roll Express. Wow, okay. But what's better than the Rock and Roll Express, Greg? This next match.
The Midnight Express.
Up next, we got Captain Mike Rotunda and Tommy Wildfire Rich taking on the Samoan SWAT team of Fatu and The Savage, who is the Tonga Kid. This one went just shy of 18 minutes. Seeing Tommy Rich and then seeing Mike Rotunda cosplaying as the skipper had me buckled in for mediocrity. I'll just say that right now.
You're easy.
And it's like Mike Rotunda, I'm like, who told you to dress like the skipper from Gilligan's Island? Like, what the F? He wasn't the captain of the varsity club here. No, he was a freaking tugboat captain here. He had an anchor on his tights, he had a little captain's hat on. Like, what the
See, I just thought it was like maybe a Syracuse thing.
Yeah, no, it's just maybe he just bought a new boat at auction. You get the reference?
I do.
Get it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
I've never been super impressed with the SST either, so it's Rich, who's usually pasty white, is super tan here for some reason. Somebody say something about tanning beds?
Oh, tanning bed.
But the SST...
Tan and I'll oil your picks. Sorry, last one.
Wow. The SST spent like 5 minutes playing like socially distanced patty cake for some reason. I assume it was some sort of
Samoan
battle.
that's the most 2021 thing you've ever said.
That's what it looked like. I guess it was some sort of Samoan battle ceremony. I don't know. But this match actually blew my expectations away, which admittedly were on the floor. However, it went on way too long. In the end, Rich gets Fatu in a sleeper. The Savage comes off the top and hits Rich with a double axe handle, and Fatu falls on him for the pinfall win. Uncle Dave said, work was solid, but it's just way too long for these guys. The crowd was dead because the actual heat in the building was worse during this match. Everyone was pouring sweat, and the match was pretty bad overall. He gave it a half of a star. I didn't hate it. I gave it 2.5 for average. What say you?
I gave it 1. I did not like it. I was bored.
Yeah, just chalk up another Tommy Rich match for unimpressive.
I never saw him as anything. I'm sorry. I hate saying that, but I just...
I'm bound and determined, man. I'm on a mission to find one good Tommy Rich match. Just one. It doesn't have to be amazing.
He was wildfire, man.
Yeah. Somebody say something about fired up.
Wow.
No? Apparently that's something he would say all the time. All right. Tony Schiavone is now on the platform in the crowd with the NWA Tag Team Champions Rick and Scott Steiner. Rick talks like he has special needs, and Scott calls Tommy before he goes off on Doom before their match later tonight. Was this post Rick painting a face on his damn hand and talking to it?
Yes. Way post.
Why the hell is he still acting like he's got special needs here?
I don't know.
He just
and then he would turn into a dog.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all he's saying, we're gonna suplex him and then we're gonna hit him with a clothesline. Like he turns into Bobcat Goldthwait basically. Gary Michael Capetta now announces the winners of some Capital Combat sweepstakes. It's an older couple. GMC doesn't say what they won, but I'm going to assume that it's tickets to this. Lucky them. We talked about Tommy Rich earlier. Now the person that he broke into the business, if you want to call it that, Missy Hyatt comes to the ring.
So many jokes. Let's leave it alone.
Well, she comes to the ring with her giant hairstyle. She's accompanying some hairstylist named Jay Tapper that will shave the loser of the next match. Not to be confused with Jake Tapper from CNN. This is, I was like, wait, what did he say his name was? Hyatt does the ring announcing for this match, which
We're going to leave alone the easy pun right there. He's not going to tap her.
Wow. Hey, he's a hairstylist, okay? He's not... Anyway. But yeah, Missy Hyatt does the ring announcing for this match, which is just something.
You thought Sunny was bad.
Yeah, let's just say she has a voice for silent films. But up next is Precious Paul Ellering taking on Theodore R. Long in a hair versus hair match. Yeah, this goes just shy of 2 minutes.
How will that match go today?
I don't know. Like
hair versus hair.
Yeah. Neither one of the rib was that Paul Ellering had like really short ass hair and he was clearly losing it. And then Theodore Long had a small skullet. Like, the hell, man? Long is dressed like a boxer, but he's wearing tights, and he is announced as Theodore Sugar Ray Long. F. Paul Ellering manages to get Teddy Long's boxing gloves off of him, finds out that there's something in the glove, and he blasts Teddy in the face with it, knocking him out. Uncle Dave said, terrible, but short. Everyone was pissed that they promised Long that Long would get shaved bald, and the hairstylist only took a couple of snips, which we'll get into. He gave it -2.5 stars. I just gave it a dud. Let's say you.
I didn't want to rank this match. I feel like it never just started, but 1.
Yeah. Well, post-match.
I was laughing so hard. I'm like, so their hair is going to get worse?
Yeah, right. It's like, shouldn't this be winner gets a better hairstyle? Like,
well, technically, it's not wrong. What you just said was what was going to happen.
Yeah, both of them are bald today, just to let everybody know. And they've been bald for a long time. So it was just like, this match was to preempt God, basically. But while Teddy Long is passed out on the mat, Jay Tapper chops most of Long's hair off, or he chops some of his hair off, but he leaves most of it for some damn reason.
Stupid.
Yeah. However, Long wakes up and acts like he's just been shorn like a sheep. This was embarrassing.
Are you talking about the match of the show?
Yes. Tony Schiavone now is up on the platform in the crowd again with Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and Sid Vicious in a tuxedo for reasons. Ole cuts a promo on Lex Luger before introducing Ric Flair, who screams and shouts and says that Lex Luger is half the man he is every single day. Arn follows suit, saying, "As God is our witness, we'll die before we let him lose this," in regards to Flair and the big gold belt. So there you go. Up next, man, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Oh, yes.
It is the Z-Man and Flying Brian defending the WCW United States Tag Team titles against the Midnight Express of Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan with Jim Cornette. And Jim Cornette is in a shark cage for this match. Remember that? Because it has implications. Not a shark cage above the ring, just a shark cage sitting in the middle of the ramp. This one went almost 20.5 minutes. Cornette tries to run away, but he gets caught by Flying Brian and Z-Man, who throws him into the cage.
Effing Z-Man.
Oh, man. The babyfaces chuck the heels over the top rope at one point, which is a stupid disqualification under NWA rules. However, that wasn't the intended finish here, so they let it go. That rule, man, it was just like, it's a rule unless we say it's not a rule, then ignore it.
Yeah.
Dumb. In the end, Z-Man is beating on Bobby Eaton when Stan Lane hits a jumping enziguri to the back of Zank's head, allowing Eaton to roll him up in a small package for the win. Uncle Dave said Cornette was in a cage at ringside, so what they could have a cage at ringside for let me try that again. Rewind. Uncle Dave said Cornette was in a cage at ringside so that they could have a cage at ringside for RoboCop later on. Good fast action all the way, and the best match on the card. We'll get into that at the
end. Opinion.
Jim Cornette said that since the bars were gimmicked, he couldn't even touch them for fear of bending them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He has a height thing, right?
He what?
He doesn't like heights.
Oh no, that was not real, but no.
No,
like,
I mean I'm just thinking he doesn't like heights. That's why he doesn't fly anywhere.
No, yeah. Well, this one though, like he couldn't touch the bars on the cage because they were, because if he touched them, they'd bend easily. Again, we'll get into that here in a minute. But Uncle Dave gave it 3 stars. I gave it 3 3/4. Actually, I really dug it. Or no, I'm sorry, I reversed that. I gave it 3. Uncle Dave gave it 3 3/4. What say you?
I gave it 3 as well. I really liked it. It was odd. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't expect to like it that much.
Probably the highest rated Tom Zink match I've ever watched.
Yeah, but it is a tag match, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, you got Flying Brian and the Midnight Express in there, which are, 3 fantastic talents. Flying Brian, by the way, if you haven't seen his Dark Side of the Ring episodes yet, go check them out. They're definitely worth it. It'll make you feel all the feels.
Make you feel something.
Have you seen part 2 yet?
No. I will.
Man. Yeah. But we now get an advertisement for WCW's next pay-per-view, the Great American Bash 1990 from the Baltimore Arena. That would be the coronation of Sting. He would go on to beat Ric Flair. But we now go back to Gordon Sully backstage as the locker room doors open and smoke billows out. It looks like Secret Service agents come out of the room and push Gordon aside because, RoboCop needs Secret Service. The camera starts messing up as RoboCop walks out from the smoke-filled room. He and Sting were obviously getting blazed before the show, and I wish I could have gotten blazed before watching it. Back in the arena, Gary Michael Capetta can't hide his verbal erection as he announces the return of Sting. I mean, he goes nuts. And Sting comes out in Zubaz and a Gold's Gym tank top. Looking like a star.
The most 90s look you've ever seen, by the way.
I know. Like,
his damn sunglasses had that thing on them where, like, it would hang. You can hang it around your neck, and then, like, the glasses would be on your chest.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yep. I had a pair of those. Yep.
I was like, I don't even know if I ever wore those when I was a kid, and if I did, it was because of him. Guarantee it.
Was he wearing Keds? I'm surprised he didn't have a fanny pack on, too. Like, good grief. And I'm feeling old. God, I got to move on. Anyway, GMC then introduces RoboCop, who slowly walks to the ring at a pace that makes The Undertaker look like he's sprinting. And Arn, Ole, and Sid now all grab Sting, and they throw him into the shark cage and lock it. RoboCop then...
And what we get is one of the most iconic shots ever.
Yeah, right. RoboCop slowly, at the speed of smell, walks up to the cage, rips the doors off the hinges, saving Sting. Good Lord. Arn, Ole, and Sid take off through the crowd like foiled again.
Oh, man. I remember I don't remember watching it back then, but I remember I was watching it back a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this really happened.
Yep. And
I'm thinking, is this something even Tony Khan would do? I don't think so.
Hell no. There's no way he would even do this. This was just like, and I can't remember. Ole says something on the mic before they take off through the crowd, and I don't know. I would have given anything for Ole to drop into that claw voice and been like, "Curses, RoboCop, foiled again." that would have saved the whole segment for me.
It would have added something, I'll tell you that.
Look, I know wrestling is goofy, but how am I ever supposed to take this crap even semi-seriously after watching them sell a fictional character like he's effing real? Like, god dang.
Not only that, Jim Ross, too, man.
I know.
He's not out of the woods on this one.
Talk about taking your credibility, taking a big dump on it, and then whipping it out the window. Uncle Dave said, quote, "He meant nothing to the show," RoboCop, that is, pronouns, pal.
Pronouns, pal.
And even though they gave out hundreds of RoboCop posters, none of them made it onto TV. On the bright side, it didn't hurt the show at all. End quote.
Well, you can't hurt what's already dead.
Yeah, I mean that's like the proverbial beating of a dead horse, I guess.
Don't make a mess of my pig pen.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know, shooting a corpse. I don't know. It's like, look, he was already dead. I just put another bullet in him. Good grief.
I don't know if you meant to make this as a metaphor for WCW as a whole, but you did.
Right. Well, it doesn't get any better in this next segment, man, because we now go back to Tony Schiavone, who I'm sure is seeing all this after getting fired by the WWF and thinking to himself, where did I go wrong in life?
Oh, yeah.
Tony's got to be sitting there
going back, man.
Yeah, Tony had to have been sitting there. It's like, I just had a great job in the WWF. What happened?
He went from calling the Royal Rumble, like the showdown between Warrior and Hogan for the first time, to this.
Right, I know. Now in the archives.
We're talking a couple of months, by the way.
Yeah, that's now in the archives. Right, Royal Rumble 1990. Yeah, now in the archives. Go check it out. Tony introduces the Junkyard Dog, who cuts a promo about wanting to beat up all the heels. I will say this. I always enjoyed his promos. I mean, that's all I can say. I thought he was good on the
when I was a kid.
Yeah. Jim Cornette comes out and says that JYD is taking him and the Midnight Express's time and asks where he's been since leaving or getting fired from the NWA. Dog gives a Louisville, Kentucky address. Cornette freaks out and says, "That's my mother's house." That was the greatest thing on the show so far. Then he tries to smack JYD with his tennis racket, but it gets caught before he says, wait a minute. And JYD does wait a minute, and Cornette hightails it. Like, what the hell did I just watch?
Is that all you gotta do to stop yourself from getting attacked, to say, wait a minute?
Yeah, right. Like, you wouldn't hit a guy wearing glasses, would you? Dog says that he's back to stay, doubtful, and walks off. Uncle Dave said that if JYD could draw anything, he'd still be in the WWF because they gave him chance after chance until they were forced to fire him. Yeah. Look, he was in the WCW a little bit before this. If anybody goes back now in the archives, we covered one of the Clash of Champions, the Raging Cajun,
the one
from
in
'89.
Superdome, yeah.
Yeah, and
he has like a pretty cool entrance.
Yeah, and he comes out with a New Orleans band and everything. It was pretty cool. Didn't draw a damn, but it happened. Before getting into the next match, there was a ton of confusion about what a corporal punishment match even was. Jim Herd envisioned a country whipping match. Ricky Morton and Ole Anderson thought it was an Indian strap match, and the promotion for the match was that it was a loser gets whipped with straps. In the original, it was originally supposed to be a country whipping match. Then someone from the company was told to go buy whips for the match, and he ended up going to a sex shop to buy whips there instead of just going to buy leather effing belts.
Like he knew exactly where to go.
Can we say it again? That's so WCW.
Yeah, right.
So
we're losing a ring, am I right?
Yeah. So since they were stuck with a bunch of cat o' nine tails, they just tied them to the corners and had them use them for a couple of spots in an otherwise normal match. Hot damn.
Did you get any annul beads?
Oh my gosh, you just said that. Why is the strap vibrating? Anyway.
Where'd you get that? My mommy's top drawer.
Wow. Good grief. This next match is the Rock and Roll Express of Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson taking on the Fabulous Freebirds of Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin. It is a corporal punishment match that went about 19 minutes.
18 minutes too long.
Yeah. The Rock and Roll Express actually has a pretty cool entrance as they're wheeled out on a platform with an old-style jukebox on it. But a fan grabs Ricky and damn near pulls him into the crowd. And he freaks out for a second because he's on a moving effing platform. Did you catch that?
I did.
He's slapping hands, and then somebody grabs him, and he's like, "Whoa, crap!" It's time to make with the strapation, dude.
Real word.
That's two shows in a row I got to use that reference. Morton was the first to use the leather strap on Garvin, and then Gibson used one of the straps on Hayes. Hayes hits a DDT on Robert Gibson, and then tries for a second one, but Ricky Morton jumps on the top rope and pins Hayes with a sunset flip. Uncle Dave said the match was good, but not what was advertised. He gave it 2 3/4 stars. I gave it 2.5 stars for average. What say you?
I gave it 2. I really wanted to like this match, though.
Yeah, I did too. I've never been a huge Michael P.S. Hayes fan. Mic work is different. Ring work, meh. But you and I talked about neither one of us were Jimmy Garvin fans. I thought he kind of sucked. And in 1990, he just looks like he's about to morph into the fat bald guy that we saw at the Hall of Fame.
Doc Hendricks, baby.
Yeah, Jimmy Jam was something. You ever notice he did what Luke Harper ended up doing later on? He was just randomly in the middle of the match, he'd go, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm like, is that where Harper got it from?
Doop.
Right. Michael did do the moonwalk during this match, and Jim Ross pointed out, he said, well, Michael Hayes says that he invented that, and Michael Jackson ripped it off of him.
He maintains that.
Yeah, right. All right, Tony Schiavone's on the platform again, interviewing Doug Furnace. Yes, Doug Furnace.
In 1990.
Apparently, Doug was there because there was a fear that Tom Zenk wouldn't show up, and they needed a backup plan. Hell of a replacement.
Yeah, it's like, that's your contingency?
Yeah, I know. Not Phil LaFawn. Anyway, Furnace says that Lex Luger is out of the hospital after spending 2 weeks in there. Now he's 100%, and he's ready for Ric Flair. He literally added nothing to this. Then Sting comes in to put over his buddy Lex.
Well, they paid him to be there. You got to get something, right?
Yeah. Sting comes in, puts over his buddy Lex. I feel like Furnace took everything that Sting was going to say, so he's like tripping over himself here.
Right.
It's like, what else is there to be said? But now we go into this next match. It is the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott, defending the NWA World Tag Team titles against Doom, Ron Simmons and Butch Reed, and they have Theodore R. Long in their corner. It went...
The newly bald?
Yeah, quote, unquote. This one went just shy of 19.5 minutes. Security has to hold back a guy in the crowd that looks like Eric Cartman all grown up as he jaw-jacks with Butch Reed. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah.
Did he call his mother a name or something?
Yeah. No, Butch Reed called him fat, and he was trying to tell him, I'm not fat, I'm big boned. Jim Ross goes on for about 10 effing minutes about the college credentials for Doom and the Steiners. I was like, just shut the F up and talk about the wrestling match. Like, I don't give a crap who was an All-American and what position they played on the football field. F off. There were a ton of big moves.
Where do the Steiners go to school?
I'm not getting into that. But there were a ton of big moves without a lot of selling in this one. The Frankensteiner got one of the biggest pops of the night. Things break down in the end.
As it should.
Right. Things break down in the end as Rick Steiner goes for a belly-to-belly suplex to Ron Simmons off the top rope. But Butch Reed pulls him down so Ron lands on top of Rick, and Ron pins him for the win. Up until now, this match had the most heat of the night. Before the ratings, this is the second instance of the night of so-and-so got pulled on top of the other person, and he falls on him for the win. It's weird. Uncle Dave gave it 3 1/4 stars. I gave it 3.5 stars. I actually really like this one. What say you?
I'm gonna go higher. Actually, I'm gonna go 4. I love this match. Thought it was damn good.
These 4 guys beat the piss out of each other,
and it never got boring and never got repetitive.
Yep.
Yeah, I really loved it.
I did like the fact that Teddy Long barely had any of his hair missing, but he kept trying to cover up his head with a do-rag and don't shoot me with a camera. It's like, What's different? So it's a little shorter, I guess? I don't know. Tony Schiavone's up on the platform again to interview Theodore Long and Doom. Long says that he might have lost his hair, but he gained the world tonight. Butch Reed says that Doom is for real, and Doom rules. And Ron Simmons says that they won a clean fight, just like they promised. Long tells Tony to tell Jim Herd about their celebration party. I'm assuming that's so that Herd brings the pizza. I had to get a reference in there. Got it in. All right. Well, that takes us to our second to last break of the podcast here. When we come back, we're going to get into the main event right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Fubo TV offers you live sports and TV without the overpriced cable. Fubo TV offers 100 channels, live and on demand, plus over 130 streaming in 4K, and a cloud DVR is included. The Fubo TV app is available on all smart devices, so you can watch what you want when you want. There are no hidden fees, and you can cancel anytime. Cut the cord and sign up for your free trial at Fubo.tv today. Fubo TV is a sponsor of the Main Event Marks and Unhinged Sports Network. Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
All right, we're back, brother. It's time for the main event. It is the Nature Boy Ric Flair defending the NWA World's Heavyweight title against Lex Luger in a steel cage match. Went just shy of 17 and a half minutes. By the way, I said something on that last show about them. It sounded like Peacock had dubbed over Flair's theme. It must have just been a really odd remix that they used for that event, because his theme is clear as day on the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'll go back and listen to that, because I don't think I noticed it. So.
Yeah, because I was like, whose music is that he's coming out to? It was like, I don't know if they played like way deep into the song, and it just sounded weird. I don't know. But anyway, Lex is the United States champion, but his title is not on the line here. Rick gets a crap ton of pyro for his entrance. This is more like a thunder cage than a regular one, because it's like the Hell in a Cell, where it doesn't touch the ring. It like goes around the ring, and then it's like bars instead of the mesh, and then it leans in at the top. So like almost sort of like a dome. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But for some reason, Woman, who accompanied Ric Flair to the ring, is allowed to be in the cage at ringside during the match. However, the referee does discover that she's hiding what Jim Ross referred to as an international object. That is because Turner outlawed the word foreign. So the alternative, I guess, is international object. Why don't you
just say weapon?
Or just, that's a hidden object or something. I don't know. It's like anything's better than an international object. That doesn't even make sense. Like, so it was imported? I don't get it. But WCW originally wanted Lex to bleed a gusher, but that life-threatening staph infection just days earlier put the kibosh to that idea. Flair, however, bled enough for both of them. Towards the end of the match, Ole, Arn, and Sid all came down to the cage, but Sting runs down to beat them up. When the heels get the advantage, El Gigante, who looks like a rejected Power Rangers villain, walks to the cage, looking clueless, and the heels just run. He doesn't do anything, they just run. Ole Anderson finally makes the guy in control of the cage, raise the cage just enough for Barry Windham to slide in, attacking Luger. This leads to a disqualification in a cage match.
And here you thought it happened first in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, Uncle Dave gave it 3.5 stars. I gave it an even 3. I took some points off for that finish. What say you?
I gave it 3. I thought about giving it 2. So yeah, it was good enough.
I liked it. I always liked Flair and Luger. I thought they worked well together. El Gigante. Okay, and here's my thing.
Did you notice when he was walking, by the way, it looked like he was like, wait, am I supposed to be coming out now? Am I coming out now? He looked lost, dude.
Yeah, he looked absolutely clueless, and like he didn't look threatening. He just looked like he was like walking up to place his order at McDonald's. Like, I don't get it. Like, what the F? And this was supposed to be like a big reveal, and oh, it's El Gigante. Like, yay. Just good grief.
I think his debut for WWE 3 years later would be better.
Yeah, well, anything could be better than this. Hey, here's my other question. Well, I'll get into the post-match, and then I'll pose this question. Arn Anderson slides into the ring now as Ole lowers the cage back, and Luger gets triple teamed by Arn, Barry, and Rick. Sting can't get in, and is going nuts until they finally raise the cage for him. El Gigante just blankly stares at the heels as they all take off. God. Tony Schiavone is... Okay, before I get into this last one, here's the thing. This sure would have been a good spot for, I don't know, RoboCop.
I don't know if that would have worked, but I just...
Well, instead of earlier, couldn't they have just had him come out and, like, pretend to raise the cage? Like, he lifts it?
Yes, it could have worked, maybe.
So what did he do? Bend the cage, or, like, rip the door off the hinges, save Sting from that weird attack earlier, and then he was like, all right, got to get back to the hotel before they cut off room service? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Effing stupid.
I mean, if you already know the answer, why are you going to ask?
I guess. Tony Schiavone is waiting in the aisle for the Horseman. Flair screams and shouts and flips his bloody hair all over until Sting attacks him from behind. As the heels get the advantage on Sting again, El Gigante just cluelessly walks up again, and the heels have to run away again. Look, yes, he's big, but there's nothing intimidating about this guy. Just, what the hell? And especially in that outfit they put him in.
Yeah. You look like you're going to play a pickup game of basketball.
In Kenya? like, good lord.
Oh, wait, we're talking about, I think you're talking about what he wrestled in.
Oh, no.
Sorry. I'm thinking about what he wrestled in WCW. Because he did wear,
one.
like, the basketball, like, biker tights, but, like, for basketball, and, like, a tank top. Yeah.
Yep. No, this one is just like, what the F are you wearing, dude? Just, no. But all right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, it's the final ratings of the podcast, and we're going to tell you what's coming up this Friday, actually, for the bonus show, and next week.
Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Fanatics offers the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and gear from all the leagues, teams, and players that you love, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, NCAA, NASCAR, soccer, and golf. They even offer esports gear for the gamers among us. You can shop by brand, sport, team, or player. And if you sign up for Fan Cash, you get exclusive weekly deals. So head on over to Fanatics.com today. Fanatics is a sponsor of the Main Event Marks and Unhinged Sports Network. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show.
All right, final ratings time. The readers of the Wrestling Observer poll, which of course is, the end-all be-all, Greg, they gave this show actually 49% thumbs up, 45% thumbs down, 13% thumbs in the middle. IMDb rated it 6.4 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 5.84 out of 10. I gave it 6.5 out of 10. What say you?
Gave it a C-.
Yeah,
it was something.
Yeah, it had some stuff on the show.
It had me laughing, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Not really a good thing, but...
I buried my head in my hands in shame during the RoboCop thing. That opening match was wow, with Norman the Lunatic or whatever the F. Yeah, I don't know. But, all right, well, that does it for Capital Combat.
Sorry.
Yes. This Friday, it's actually a bonus show. We're throwing you a freaking bonus here. Not sure this one's going to be any better than what we just covered, but we're going 10 years in the future for ECW's Hardcore Heaven 2000. This one was I know the main event was Lance Storm and Justin Credible the Impact players explode. No?
No.
Okay. Oh, come on. But they're going to be wrestling for the ECW World Title, I believe.
If I remember right, the match is really good, so.
No, I'm sure it is. I like both those guys. I believe this was Lance Storm's final appearance in ECW before hightailing it to WCW and getting pushed to the effing moon. And then next week, we're wrapping up May on the 26th with AWA Super Clash 2. We've covered Super Clash. I got to correct myself from last week. I kept saying Super Brawl, but no, it is Super Clash 2. We have covered Super Clash 3 now in the archives. That one was Jerry Lawler and Kerry Von Erich in a title versus title match. Lots and lots of blood in that one. This one is Nick Bockwinkel versus Kurt Hennig for the AWA title. That one I'm actually looking very forward to watching. I don't know about the rest of the card, but I'm looking forward to watching that. But yeah, anyway, so that does it this week, or, well, tonight, whatever. We'll see you back on Friday. If you are not listening on the Unhinged Sports Network, again, we are live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on unhingedsn.airtime.pro. If you're coming in late, our immediate replay is at 9 Eastern or 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And we also have replays on Thursday and Monday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. unhingedsn.airtime.pro. We are also sponsored by Fubo TV and Fanatics. The links are down in the podcast description. Let them know that the Main Event Marks and the Unhinged Sports Network sent you. We'll come at you again with a bonus show on Friday. Thanks for joining me today, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you Friday with Hardcore Heaven.